apologize for being a couple minutes late getting on. Like I always say, there's always some type of complication when you do a Google Hangout. You just never know what might happen. This particular time, I was getting ready to log on here, and then Google wants me to verify my email account to verify that it's really me. So I had to put in my phone number and let them send me a text message and all this BS so they can check my excuse me, so they can check my account and make sure that I am who I'm supposed to be. So now that that's out the way, what we're doing today basically is what we're going to cover is we're going to talk about the basics of how you can start a successful blog and some of the things that you need to do after you get your blog up and running so your blog is successful so you can actually make some money with your blog. Okay, so those are the things that we're going to cover on this particular webinar. I'm going to try and keep this one short. The last one ran a little bit over 60 minutes. I think I might be able to knock this one out in about 45 minutes or less, so we will see. But since I was a couple minutes late, I will hang here for a second or two and wait to see if anybody else is going to hop on here before before I go ahead and start sharing my screen with you guys. Now, one thing, let me take these off. One thing that I want you guys to know is that blogging is an extremely good method of generating leads and sales in your business, getting traffic to your websites, and it all boils down to consistency when it comes to blogging. If you're consistent, then you can get a lot of people looking at your website and whatever it is that you have to offer. Some people, they use their blogs to sell specific products and services. Some people use their blogs simply to drive traffic and attract traffic to themselves so that they can actually promote their business opportunity or some type of tools or whatever it is that they market online. Now, I'm gonna get ready and log into this PowerPoint that I did here, so you can actually see some of the basic things that you need to do in order to get a successful blog up and running. And then in about maybe 15 minutes or so, there's going to be a button that's going to pop up, and it's going to pop up right down there below this video that you're watching right now. And that button is going to actually say take a tour. And it's going to give you a tour of a website that I actually am a member of that is jam-packed. I mean, it has so much information in there, it's ridiculous as far as information on how to become better at blogging, become a six-figure blogger. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up my screen here. Find the screen share button there. Okay. Let me find that real fast. Oops. Okay, screen share. Where'd it go? Here we go. Okay, entire screen. Okay, so now you guys should be able to see my screen. Let me actually pull up my website here real fast so I can see if I can see what you see. Pull up my screen here. Find the screen share button there. Okay. I'm actually looking at the same thing that you guys are watching on my phone here. So it looks, let me know if you can't see my screen. Um, I forgot to put the Facebook comments underneath the video this week, but I'm pretty sure you guys can see my screen. So now I'm on full screen here. Excuse me. And let's go ahead and talk about this a little bit because, like I was saying, if you want to get your website, more people coming to your website to look at your business, if you want to sell more products or whatever the case may be, then it's critical that you get a blog. A blog is going to do so much for you in the long run in terms of your business and your brand and all of that good stuff. Okay. Now, you know, over the years since I began blogging, probably back in 2007, I've made a ridiculous amount of money from my blogs. The 90% of the money that I've ever made on the internet has all come from free marketing. I have invested in solo ads and pay per click and all that stuff, but the majority of the money that I've made has come from my blogs and it's come from videos. Now, nowadays, videos are a little bit more challenging because there's people who like to get your videos shut down on YouTube and stuff like that based off of malice, and some people are just jealous, and then some of them are your competitors and they want to try and knock you out of position or whatever the case. But you know blogging is the great equalizer for that, because you own your blog. Nobody can just come and randomly shut your blog down like they can on YouTube and stuff. And I had some of my blogs, I haven't been blogging as hardcore as I used to when I first started back in 2007. But some of my blogs, they get 100, 200, 300 people to look at them every single day. And I haven't written anything on a lot of them in a long time. So if you do this consistently on a daily basis, eventually you'll get 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 people coming to your blog every month or more. It just depends on your consistency and what it is that you're blogging about and so forth. Okay, so let's talk about the mechanics of a good blog post. Okay, now these are tips to get your content found after you write your blog post. But before we go into that, we're going to actually talk about the bare necessities, the real basics. So by the end of this training, you're actually going to learn why you need your own blog. You're going to learn how to set your blog up fast. You're going to learn how to make it look good, and you're going to learn how to write a blog post in the correct way. And then finally, you're going to learn how to promote that blog post so people that are actually out there can find what it is that you have, because writing a blog post is not the end. Writing a blog post is not the end of what you need to do in order for your blog to be successful. It's really just the beginning, because you can write blog posts all day, but if you're not promoting your content correctly, then you're not going to have very many people find what it is that you have out there, and that can be frustrating. Okay, so let us go down here now to the next page. And what's the purpose of a blog? That's what I want to talk to you about for a second. So what exactly is the purpose of having a blog? The reason that you want to have a blog is this like the central headquarters for all of your stuff. If you're in several different programs, you promote a couple different business opportunities or whatever, instead of making a bunch of different websites for them, which you can still do, you can actually promote those all in one place on your blog. It's also a place for you to be able to build your brand up. People get a chance to build rapport with you, and people get a chance to know you. And by building your brand up, you want to do something on your blog that is a little bit different than what other people out there are doing. So obviously you want to set yourself apart from the rest of the people out there, because there's a lot of people blogging nowadays. Blogging is extremely popular. 5-6 years ago, a lot of people were not blogging as much as they are today. And there's different ways to go about it before you get discouraged, because I know a lot of people, they get discouraged about it because they say to themselves, well, I can't write very well, or I can't spell, or whatever the case may be. I have bad grammar. Nobody cares about that, because truthfully, when you blog, you should be writing in a conversational manner. You actually need to unlearn everything you learned in English and stuff like that in school, and speak in more of a conversational manner when you're on your blog, because people connect with people are there to read and be entertained, and they connect with you more when you talk like you're when you write like you're speaking to them instead of trying to sound like you're some type of professor at Harvard, if that makes sense. Okay, so the last reason that you want to blog is it actually helps you to build a presence on the search engines. Now in the event that a person goes to to Google search you and they search your name, what is going to come up? If you don't have a blog and or anything like that, then they're not going to find a lot of material about you. Now, granted, you may have some YouTube videos out there and a Facebook profile and all that stuff, but that stuff does not really say very much about you. Your blog is where they're going to get to see what type of they feel like you're professional or not, or if you're an expert in your field and what it is that you do, so on and so forth. Okay, so how do you start your own blog? Now, it's very, very easy for you to get started with your own blog, and the only thing that I recommend is a WordPress blog. There's a gazillion different things out there that you can use. You can create free websites with Wix and with Weebly and all these kind of sites like that, but those sites are not 100% under your control. Even though they seem like they are, even though they tell you that they are not. Because number one, if you're not hosting your own blog, then you are not under full control of your blog. Okay. Now, WordPress.com, if by chance you decide that you want to grab a blog, you don't have one yet, and you want to get the WordPress blog because that's what I told you or that's what someone else has recommended to you, you need to keep in mind that there's two forms of WordPress. There's WordPress.com and then there's WordPress.org. Okay, so WordPress.com is actually controlled by them, and there are certain things that they don't necessarily like too much. Like WordPress.com is not a big fan of home-based business and affiliate marketing and stuff like that. So if you have that stuff on your blog and they say, hey, we don't like this guy's blog, we're going to shut this down, then they have free reign to do so, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you definitely want to get a WordPress.org blog, and the only difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org is you have a hosting account with all of your content on your hosting. So WordPress.com is free. WordPress.org is where you go out and you get your own hosting for your blog, and a hosting account doesn't really cost barely anything, but that little bit of extra money that you're spending for your hosting account is what gives you creative control over your blog. Okay, now getting a hosting account. There's a ton of different places for you to get hosting. Like I said, if you want some of my recommendations, you can shoot me an email or get in contact with me on Facebook. However you need to get in contact with me, contact me through my blog, some type of way. But I used to recommend HostGator, but over the last 12 months or so, I've sort of become disgruntled with HostGator. Had service outages a couple times over the last 12 months, and I've been using HostGator for almost 8 years now, and I just really started experiencing these issues recently. So I'm not really sure about HostGator anymore. I like JustHost. JustHost is another one. There's a bunch of them out there though, so like I said, you can just ask me about it or whatever and we can go from there. But I do have a program that I'm going to tell you about, so make sure you watch this to the end if you want to get your own blog set up and you don't want to pay anybody to do it, because I have a training that I put out about a year ago, and it teaches you exactly how to set up your own blog from A to Z. And you can actually go there if you want to write this website down. It's no cost for you to learn how to do this. It's called WordPress Wizardry 101. It's called WordPress Wizardry 101.com. So that's WordPress Wizardry, WIZARDRY 101.com. If you go to WordPress Wizardry, I can't even say it. WordPress Wizardry 101.com. It'll teach you how to set up your own blog and where to get hosting and all that stuff. Okay, so finding a theme for your blog. Now, some of you that are watching this, if you're unfamiliar with blogging, a theme is simply a design, like a template for your blog, the way it's going to look. it's very easy to make your blog look like you spent a whole bunch of money on it. You know, there's themes out there for 40, $50 that look extremely professional that could actually give your blog the persona of being a $1 million blog site. You know, the only thing that you're really in charge of creating for your blog is the header, and the header is just a part at the very top, like where a person's face or picture or whatever they have up there goes on their website. And you know you can get those created for $5, some pretty decent looking ones for $5 at that. But if you want to take it, kick it up a notch and take it to the next level, I actually recommend that you go on a website called Digital Point, and Digital Point dot I think it's digitalpoint.com, and it's a forum, and they actually have some designers on there who will do some amazing work for you for like $20 or something like that. So that's a golden nugget for you guys out there if you're not using Digital Point. Okay, so let's go forward, and now the next thing you need to determine, once you got your blog set up, you kind of got an idea of how you want your blog to look and all that good stuff. So what's the next step? Well, the next step after you've got your blog online is you need to really determine an identity for your blog before you just start randomly blogging, because that was the mistake that I made in 2007 when I started blogging. And you know, my niche market for my blog was basically make money online. But make money online is an extreme to kind of like create a sub niche or sub niches for your blog, so you can actually be a little more targeted, because you know you have make money online, you have affiliate marketing, you have network marketing, you have all types, all that stuff falls under the umbrella of make money online. um, CPA marketing, all that stuff is just a subculture of make money online. So you can actually, you know, break it down a little bit more and have a more specific blog, and you'll get probably more targeted traffic to your blog. So the purpose of your blog, what are you looking to teach or share with the people who are coming to your blog? Now there's actually 4 different model types that you can actually use for your blog. You have the expert model, you have the host model, you have the publisher model, and you have the hybrid model. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about those. Now, the expert model. The expert model blog is one where people come to you and they're looking for your advice or your expertise. And if you're highly skilled in any specific area or field, the expert model is probably the best place for you to start. It's very popular among bloggers, is the expert model. You know, people are teaching what they know, they're doing tutorials and so on and so forth, things like that. That's my actual that's my forte, is teaching people what I know how to do. That's why I came up with the moniker the how-to king for myself, because I've made hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of how-to videos, started marketing online. And you know, I like to do them because they come to me naturally, because you know, I'm just basically sharing my screen. I do a screen capture video and I show my screen, and then I show people what I do or what I know how to do, pretty similar to what I'm doing with you right now on this webinar. Okay, so if you have good content, people are going to return to your blog over and over again. So the expert model is definitely the model of choice if you want to get people to come back to your site over and over again with some really good material that you're sharing with people. Okay, now the host model. The host model is where you invite other people in your field to do interviews with you and so forth. Now, possibly you might even have guest bloggers come by and leave value-driven posts on your blog, and that is still, in a sense, a host model, but it's also sort of a publisher model type, and we'll talk about that in a second. But you know, interview always interesting. So if you can get someone like, for in my example, you know, my forte, my niche is making money from home, working from home, things like that, network marketing, all that cool stuff. So, if I go out and I connect with people that are um, noted, highly noted, or have notoriety as being successful in this industry, then people are going to want to actually plug in and watch what they have to listen to what they have to say, and watch those interviews. Those types of interviews, question and answer interviews and things like that, can be extremely beneficial for somebody that's trying to improve their skill set or trying to learn something that's new. Okay, so the next one we have is the publisher model. Now, the publisher model is more of a distribution channel, and the goal of the publisher model is to have the goal of the publisher model is having the goal of getting other people to contribute most of the content on your site. So what I mean by that is a large majority of the blog posts and articles that are written on your website are going to be written by other people. Now, in the beginning, it might be a little bit difficult for you to get other people to want to contribute their time and effort into writing something on your site, because normally the only time a person is willing to do a guest blog or something like that is on a website that has a lot of traffic already coming to it, or a high page rank. And PageRank is basically Google's way of determining the importance of your website. So, if you have a lot of really good material and people come back to your website a lot, then your PageRank will be higher than someone else's who does not really have that good of material, and they don't have a lot of repeat visitors. So some examples of the publisher model would be websites like Empower Network. If you're familiar with Empower Network, it's basically a network of bloggers. There's however many people are in the company. There's, say for example, there's 200,000 people in Empower Network, so that means there's 200,000 individual bloggers with their own unique blogs, but they're all under the umbrella of empowernetwork.com. So that much content being distributed on a daily basis is creating a humongous amount of authority in the eyes of Google and Yahoo and Bing and the search engines, as that website being something that's very credible and something that people go to learn. Just like Squidoo and Hub Pages and Tumblr and all those other sites are basically publisher model websites where they let however many people possible take advantage of their domain name and let you blog and write your material on there. Okay. Now, the hybrid model is probably the go-to model outside of the expert model, and here's why. The hybrid model is a combination of all of the ones that we just discussed. So basically, the hybrid model is the expert model, it's the hosting model where you're doing interviews, it's the publisher model where you're letting other people write guest blogs on your blog, and you kind of like do a little collaboration of all these things in one site, and it basically diversifies your blog and gives it more variety for the people who come through to see what it is that you have to say. All right, now here are some ideas for you to come up with blog posts. If you don't have any ideas to come up with a blog post, these are some locations you can actually use to find things that will spark your interest and tickle your creativity a little bit. So Dig and Reddit, and these are all websites that have tons and tons of information on them. All you have to do is put a .com on these and you can find them. Dig, Reddit, StumbleUpon, Trending News. Trending News is not a website. Trending News is basically just something that I threw on here because it's something that you can actually get a lot of traffic with. Like with the things, like, today is, I believe today is September 15th. And, right now, the things that are like trending in the news are Adrian Peterson, doing whatever he did to his kid, and the Ray Rice guy for hitting on his wife, and Robin Williams passing away recently, Joan Rivers. Those are all examples of trending news. And there's tons of trending news out there. You can actually find trending news on Twitter, and Facebook has a trending news feed now as well on the right hand side of your news feed. Okay, so then you have company reviews. You can do company reviews, like if you're in network marketing or something like that, then you can actually do reviews on other companies and find traffic from the people who are doing those reviews, and then share something that you think is best for them to take a look at, whether it be your company versus the one you did the review on, or some type of tools that they can use in order to get more traffic and leads to their business. It just really depends on you. Okay, and then you can do tutorials. Like I said, you can teach people how to do this, how to do that, how to invite all your friends to a Facebook event, how to block people from tagging you on Facebook, and stuff like that. There's literally an unlimited amount of how-to information out there, and even somebody that is fairly new, like a novice on the computer, I'm sure that there is something that you know how to do on your computer that you can actually make a video about and teach it to the rest of the world. Okay. And then finally, you have inspiration and motivation. So if you have any type of inspirational material, or you're feeling motivated about something in particular, then write a blog post about it. So now we're getting down into the nitty gritty here. We're going to talk about the anatomy of a good blog post, okay? So the things that you need to keep in mind in order for your blog post to be most efficient is your headlines. You need to have headers and subheadlines in your blog post to make it scannable, because a lot of people don't like to read. A lot of people, they'll scan through and they'll read the subheadlines before they even decide if they're going to read your article. If they see a subheadline that has something that they want to learn or that they're interested in, they may read that particular section of your blog, the paragraph that's under that subheadline, and not anything else. It just depends on that particular person. You want to have images in there. Images help to keep your readers on your page longer, because it breaks up some of the monotony from all of the words and all the text that they see. And then you want to have a call to action at least 2 or 3 times in each blog post that you write, especially if you are someone who has something for sale. And a call to action is basically just simply you going and telling your readers what you want them to do. So if you have a blog post about how to make money online, somewhere within that blog post, you probably want to stop and say, click here now to learn more about making money from home, or something like that. And it doesn't have to necessarily be just a link. It can be a button. Whatever it is that you do, a call to action is when you're taking the initiative to tell your readers what you want them to do, and whether that be telling them to share your blog posts on Facebook with their friends, or like us on Twitter, whatever the case. But that is a call to action. Okay, so how do you get your blog to show up on Google? Now, this is getting down to the meat and potatoes, like I said. Now, if you've actually started blogging, started writing, then this is the stuff that you need to start working on if you're not showing up on the search engines. Okay, now the first thing you want to do is you want to work on your page titles. Your page titles are very, very important. You want to make sure that your keywords are always inside of the page titles at all times, okay? And preferably at the beginning, okay? So if your blog post is about make money online, it's more efficient for you to have your keyword make money online selling on eBay. It's more proficient to have your keyword at the beginning than to say go on eBay to make money online. You want to have your main keyword closer towards the beginning of your title. Okay, now here's an example. If your keyword is make money online, your page title or your headline, which is basically the same thing, should have those words on the inside of it. Make money online. Okay, now the next thing that you want to do is you want to work on your meta description. Your meta description, a lot of people don't think about this, but your meta description is actually the thing that you see when you go to Google. So, like when you go to Google and you do a search for something and all the websites come up, what you're going to see is like up here at the top here where I took this out of one of my blogs here. Like the blog that I had wrote was called Legitimate Work from Home. That was the keyword that I was actually targeting, the keyword phrase that I was targeting, legitimate work from home. Now, you can see here there's a green link underneath that shows the link to my page that is written on, and then underneath it is the meta description. And you can see it says, if you're looking for legitimate work from home, then read this article, call to action, because it might help you find something legit with low startup costs. Okay, so at all times you want to be using those call to actions, folks. So you can see again, I said, if you're looking for legitimate work from home, my keyword in the meta description. Then I said, then read this article because it might help you find something legitimate with low startup costs. You know, I could have said, then click here now to read this article because it'll help you find something legit with low startup costs. But, you know, it's still a call to action because I told them, read this article. Okay? So, once you get your keyword in the meta description, and then now you have it in the headline or the page title, what's next? Okay, the next thing you want to do is you want to have your tags, your meta tags. Now, this is just an example of one of my other blogs. I think this might have come from the same one. I believe so. Legitimate Work from Home. And you know, I just threw in some of the programs that I referred to in that article. Okay, so your meta tags are relevant keywords, or not necessarily, they're not keywords, but they're relevant words that tie into the purpose of your blog post or your article. So if your article is about legitimate work from home, then obviously, you know, some of the companies that are out there that are work from home programs would be good choices for meta tags. Okay, and then, you know, work from home jobs and um, how can I get work from home, things like that. Anything that's relevant is what will go in this section in your meta tags, and that could be a training in and of itself right there. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is work on your URL structure. So once you get your blog set up, there's a link in the blog called permalinks. You want to click on the permalinks and make sure that your blog, that your URL structure is set to post name. Okay, and once you create your post name, again, your post name is going to have the keyword phrase that you were after in your URL. So my URL is rondellmitchell.com. So if I write a blog post about legitimate work from home, then I write legitimate work from home in the URL structure. You also want to make sure that you have a dash in between each word. Don't make it all one word. If they're separate words, place dashes in between each of those words, okay? Now, the next thing about the URL structure is you want to actually also have the keyword you were targeting listed on the inside of it, just like I said, because that's going to help you rank better on the search engines. Now, this is actually a visual explanation or a visual example of what I just shared with you on the last slide here, where you can see rondellmitchell.com. If my keyword was make money online, then basically this is all I would have to do. Part in your URL, you don't need anything extra. Now, in your actual title of your blog, you might want to use a little bit more wording in there and make your copy sound attractive to get people to actually click on it, because that's your main job. You know, your first obstacle is to get people to click on what it is that you've written. You know, if your headline is dry and it's boring and people don't want to click on it, then they're not going to know what it says on the inside. You know, so the next thing you want to do inside of your articles is your body tags. So again, exact same scenario. If I was targeting the keyword make money online. You can see I have 4 body tags in there. That's the H1 tag on the top, H2, H3, and H4. These are basically just the same thing as subheadlines, but these notify the search engines of what you've written and the importance of the particular words that you're using in those tags. So with these body tags, you want to have your keyword in those body tags. So, for example, those will say make money online and all 4 of them. And in the beginning, and you don't want to have to just use the same word in every single one. Like the first one, I might say make money online, introduction, make money online, places you can get started. Third one, make money online, how to find a mentor. Fourth one, make money online, utilizing social media. Stuff like that. It doesn't have to just be that keyword, especially in the tags. You just want to have the word there. Okay? Now, your keyword density is also important. Okay, now including relevant keywords throughout your content is important as it helps the search engines work out what your content is about. However, try not to excessively repeat and overuse keywords because the search engine will ban you. Okay, the search engine robots, they go through and they scour your website basically like the Matrix, and they're reading every word on your website, and if they find the same word used over and over and over and over again, then they're going to expect and assume that you're trying to cheat the search engines by keyword spamming, what it's called, and they will penalize your website, and your website will fail to show on the search engines altogether. Okay, so in order to avoid this, you want to try and keep your keyword density to about 2 to 5%. Now, if you don't know how to do that, let's just say 5%. If you wrote a 500-word article, which should be the minimum that you write on any article that you want to rank for at least, 10% of 500 is 50. So 5% is 25. So you want to have like 25 instances of this keyword. Now, it doesn't have to be exact. It can be variations of the keyword or whatever, but just make sure that you're using it enough and make sure that you're not using it too much. And keywords is also another can of worms that could actually take forever for us to cover, and I'm not going to be on here that much longer. So I definitely want to keep things moving, and we can maybe talk about keywords in a different training. Okay, now image SEO. Image SEO is actually another thing that a lot of marketers don't do. And I know this for a fact because I always look for it when I go and read a person's blog post. Now, image SEO is basically if you enter an image on your blog, there's something called alt text, ALT, alt text. I believe that stands for alternative text. And what that does is it lets you add keywords to your image. So, for example, if you were to go to Google Images and type in a specific keyword, if you go to Google and type something in, normally it comes up with content. But if you go to Google Images, it comes up with images for the keywords. So, for example, if I had taken this image that you're looking at right now, and I added the alt text, get unlimited leads for any business. If somebody types get unlimited on Google, then they can find this image. If they click this image, it'll take them to the article that was written for it. And then sometimes when you do a Google search, sometimes an image will show up even if you're not on Google Images. So, having these images on here just is a way to give yourself more exposure than the person that's too lazy to go out and find images and add them into their blog. Okay, so basically we're pretty much done now, folks. I told you this wasn't going to be a long training because I wanted to keep this pretty short. So it's all about being smart at the end of the day. When it comes to blogging, you want to take a minute to analyze what everybody else is doing. You want to find out what they do and figure out how you can do it better than they are doing it. And it's not really that difficult because a lot of the people who are blogging are lazy. And you can tell it by looking at, because like I told you, the search engines require you to have a certain amount of content on your blog in order for them to deem it relevant and quality information. So if you've written a blog post and it's only 3 paragraphs, and I've written a 500, 1,000 word article about the same thing, who do you think they're going to show first in the search engines when people type in make money online or legitimate work from home? They're going to show me, because what you've done is you've half-assed what you've written thinking that it's going to show up, because your only goal is to get somebody to click on what you have. Your goal was not to make some content that's useful and relevant for people where they can actually gain something from it. You only had one ulterior motive, and that was to get people to go to your website. But if you're not sharing quality information, then people are not going to ever find you in the first place. Okay, so all of your blog posts, again, I reiterate, should be at least 500 words minimum. Okay, now especially if you want to rank those blogs, never make your minimums your maximums, folks. A lot of people do this. If I was to tell if I was to tell you right now that your all you need to do to rank on the search engines is write a 200-word article, and then I could tell you 500 words works better and 1,000 words works best, but 200 words will get you there. 90% of the people that listen to that will only write 200, because people like to make their minimums their maximums. And when you think that way, you're going to get minimal results, obviously. So at the end of the day, you need to be smart about what you're doing, whether it's blogging or any other type of marketing or advertising that you're doing while you're trying to pursue the dream of making money from home in your business. You need to be thinking and be willing to work hard and outsmart, and most of the time not necessarily even outsmart, but just outwork the people that are your supposed competition for what it is that you're doing. Okay, and then finally, if you do the simple things you learned here today, always write at least 500 words or more and stay consistent, you will get tons of traffic over time to your blog. It's a fact. It's a stone cold fact. Now, there are things that we didn't discuss in this article in terms of how to promote your content, how to expose more people to what you've written to attract them to it and get them looking at it and things. And that's something that I might cover in a few. I might just actually write a blog post about it and link that blog post together with this presentation. Okay, so here's a few more tips. These are a couple tips you can do. You make sure you share your content on social media. So if you're on Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook and Twitter and whatever other social media sites that you like to frequent, Twitter, and I think I might have said Twitter already, share your stuff on there. Let people know that you've just written a blog post. Because if you just write a blog post and then just go kick back and go grab some potato chips and sit on the couch and watch TV, nobody's going to know that you ever wrote that blog post. If you did it right, it may eventually show up on the search engines, but if you're not doing it the right way, it's going to take longer. Okay, so don't go crazy with the keywords. It'll backfire. Don't try to spam your blog full of keywords trying to get it to show up. Make sure that your ads are relevant. Now, what I mean by this is if you're advertising on your blog, like on the sidebar, and you have banners and stuff like that, make sure that your stuff is relevant. Don't sell dog food on a blog about cats. So just use common sense. If your blog is about make money online, don't have sex toys on on the side of your blog and stuff like that. You know, some people, you know, this stuff, you would imagine that this is common sense, but a lot of people don't have common sense. And it's kind of shocking sometimes to see some of the things that people will do when they don't know any better. Okay, now use banners on your sidebar to try and snag some of the lurkers on your site. What I mean by that is there's going to be people who come by your site. They're going to stumble upon your site somehow, some way, and they're not going to really read any of it. They're not going to read any of your blog posts and stuff. They're just going to be kind of like trolling your website, looking at it and trying to kind of like analyze the look and the appearance of it and stuff like that. So give them something to see. You know, give them some banners and stuff or some things you can advertise that they might wind up clicking on and buying something. And you know, there's other ways to advertise on there too that I didn't even cover on here, like Google AdSense. You know, a person clicks, even if a person just clicks on a banner and you have Google AdSense on your blog, you'll get paid just for them clicking on it. And then you can do CPA. A person clicks on something and enters their email address, you get paid for emails. You know, so there's tons and tons of ways to make money online, folks. Tons of ways. You just have to learn some of this stuff, and then don't be an asshole like a lot of these people out there and try to do 20 different things at one time. Just learn something that is working for you and improve upon it until you become where you feel proficient enough to call yourself almost something like an. Once you feel a little bit of mastery in what it is that you're doing, that's when you move on and try and add more things to your plate. But you can't be in the preseason stages of what you're doing and constantly trying to do something new, because every time you start on something else, you're starting over. And every time you start over, you're making it difficult on yourself to gain any type of momentum. Okay? So finally, remember to be yourself on your blog. Write in a conversational tone. You don't have to sound like a professor. You don't have to sound like an English major. Just write to people like you're talking to people. They will read your stuff a whole lot more if you write like you're talking, because that's always been a thing for me, because I'm a grammar Nazi. And when I first started blogging, I used to try and write so excellently and let people know how intelligent I am with the words that I'm using and stuff like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, people just want to know that you're a real person and they want to connect with you. If you've got some good information, share it. And it's your blog. If you feel the need to say a curse word or two on there, then let it rip. You know, that's what it's all about, is being real. Because, you know, I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. You know, and that's how you need to look at it at the end of the day, okay? So pretty much this is it for this training, folks. I did that in about almost, it's 7:52. I started about 5 minutes late. So I knocked this out almost in 45 minutes. So hopefully you guys found a little bit of value in this training. You know, if you have any questions about any of the stuff that I talked about here tonight, you can contact me by email by contacting me at getpaidwithmitch@gmail.com. Okay. Now, one thing I do want to do, call to action here for you, is excuse me, if you got some value from this, if you've learned something that you did not know about blogging or how to set your blog up or all that stuff, then please share this with your friends. Share this with anybody who you think would benefit from this, whether they're an existing blogger, somebody that's looking to start their own blog, whatever the case may be. And share it on social media. And if you're interested in partnering with me on a new project that I've just started recently working on, folks, I want you to text the word residual right now to 72727. So take out your cell phone, dial in the number 72727 in your texting that you use to text, and in the message part, write the word residual and send it. What's going to happen is you're going to receive almost an immediate response from me with some details on the new project that I've been working on, and how we can partner up and how you can make a very, very nice side income or even potentially a full-time primary income from what it is that I have uh, been working on, okay? So, my friends, I want to thank you all for taking time to come out. I believe this is officially the fourth training that I've done in the last 5 weeks since I started holding these Monday night trainings. Now, I've actually been having time constraints getting started on time at 7 o'clock, so I may have to push back to 7:30 or 8 o'clock, maybe even 9 o'clock. But, this is something that I'm looking forward to doing. I actually like doing this, sharing and training and stuff like that. So I just want to make sure that the people that are watching this are actually getting some type of value out of it. And again, I want to recap that. The website that I told you guys about, if you want to learn how to create your own blog and set it up, I've got at least probably like maybe 5 to 10 hours of video training that'll show you how to do all of that stuff. And it's called WordPressWizardry101.com. Okay, now, and finally, if you want to take it to the next level, to six-figure level blogging and become a blogger on steroids, then click on that button that popped up underneath the video right now. It should say, be a big yellow button that says take a tour. And when you click on the take a tour button, it'll it'll actually it'll actually I'm sorry. When you click on the take a tour button, it'll actually show you a membership website that I use that helps me learn all types of stuff about blogging and stuff like that you couldn't believe. So that's it for today. 7:56, 9:15, 2014. Christmas is almost here, folks. If you're serious about making money, then you need to start taking some action, because Christmas is in 3 months. You got to work. This stuff is simple, but it's not easy. It's a lot easier than working for somebody else, having somebody breathing down your throat and breathing down your neck rather, and watching over you and constantly criticizing you for what you're doing and all that. So, all it is a learning process. Just like you learn how to do whatever type of job that you're doing right now, you can learn how to make money on the internet. And it's a fact, that this stuff works, because there's thousands of people who do this from home full time, myself included. Okay, so with that said, folks, if you have any questions, you remember my email to contact me was getpaidwithmitch@gmail.com. Connect with me on Facebook. You can go to joinmyfanpage.com and connect with me on Facebook. And I will see you guys next week sometime, probably next Monday. If not, it'll be the Monday after. But I'm not sure what the content is going to be for next week yet, so I'll let you guys know the next couple days whether I'm going to be training next Monday or if it'll be the following Monday. But I will not go longer than 2 weeks without doing the training. So it'll either always be every Monday or bi-weekly every Monday, okay? So thanks for watching, folks. Talk to you later.